Welcome to Royal Daily Report, your #1 source for breaking royal news and exclusive palace investigations. I'm your host, and today we're bringing you the story of King Charles's coldest decision regarding Prince Harry. This is about money, power, and who really pays the price. Make sure you subscribe right now because this exposes the truth behind the royal security battle. Hit that subscribe button. King Charles just dropped the coldest move in royal history on Prince Harry, his son. He didn't give Harry protection. He didn't give him privilege. He didn't give him a pass. Instead, he sent a message that landed like a slap across the monarchy. If you're done working for the crown, you're done living on the crown's money. No more taxpayer-funded safety nets. No more public bills quietly picked up behind the scenes. No more pretending this was about fear instead of finances. For the first time since Harry walked away, the line was drawn. Not by Parliament, not by the courts, but by the king himself. And suddenly, the story stopped being about security and started being about who pays. Because when the dust settles and the excuses run out, this isn't a family feud, it's a bill. And Harry has finally been told to pay it. Before we dive deeper into this royal showdown, I need you to subscribe to Royal Daily Report right now. We are the only channel giving you the unfiltered truth about what's really happening with Harry's security demands. Turn on all notifications because we're exposing the facts that other channels won't touch. Subscribe to Royal Daily Report now. For years, Prince Harry had said the same thing, that he wasn't safe in the United Kingdom. He feared for his life. He claimed returning home without police protection puts him in danger. That claim became the backbone of his lawsuits and public statements. But then something small and very real surfaced. A door camera clip. Nothing dramatic, no chase, no ambush, just Harry alone. No bodyguards, no police, no visible concern. He's pacing the street casually, wandering back and forth, clearly looking for his pub friends. He's relaxed, unbothered, acting like a man killing time before a drink. And here's the detail that matters most. This happened during the same period he was suing the British government, claiming he could not safely walk around in public. That contradiction matters because fear doesn't take breaks. Real danger doesn't disappear when security is inconvenient. And people who believe they are genuinely at risk don't voluntarily ditch protection and stroll the streets alone. Harry had bodyguards available. He chose not to use them. That single image didn't just raise eyebrows. It cracked the entire narrative wide open. If the danger was real, why didn't his behavior reflect it? Harry didn't stop at complaints. He sued the British government. Then he sued again. His argument was straightforward. He deserved taxpayer-funded police protection whenever he returned to the UK. Not private security, police officers, public resources. The courts reviewed the case. They examined the process used by the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, the body responsible for security decisions, and the ruling was clear. The decision to remove Harry's automatic police protection was lawful. There was no error in judgment, no abuse of process, no legal wrongdoing. Harry lost. Then came the cost. Nearly $1.5 million in legal fees, close to $2 million ordered after the cases failed. And despite all the outrage, one fact remains quietly sitting there. That money still hasn't been paid. So by the time this chapter of the story ends, the situation is already settled on paper. Harry is not entitled to automatic protection. The courts agreed with the government. The law closed the door, which makes the next developments far more troubling because they happened after the law said no. Are you seeing how this story unfolds? Royal Daily Report is connecting the facts and showing you the real timeline. If you appreciate journalism that follows the evidence, subscribe to our channel right now. Hit that button, turn on notifications, and make sure you're with us for every development. Royal Daily Report, where truth matters. Subscribe now. Security isn't a vibe, it's logistics. Royal and VIP protection depends on planning, not panic. Routes are mapped. Locations are studied. Patterns are observed. Officers don't just show up and hope for the best. That's why schedules matter. When a high-profile person plans to visit the UK, security teams need advance notice. They scout locations weeks ahead, sometimes months. They study normal activity in the area so they can spot anything unusual. That's how real protection works. Harry was never denied this process. All he had to do was submit his itinerary in advance, tell them where he'd be, when he'd arrive, where he'd stay. He refused. And without that information, security teams can't do their job. No schedules means no planning. No planning means no automatic deployment. So when Harry says he was left unprotected, what he's really saying is that he didn't want to follow the rules required to be protected. This wasn't about safety failing. It was about cooperation ending. Now comes the part no one likes to say out loud. Private security is expensive. Harry's personal security costs are estimated in the millions each year. Former police protection officers, international travel, round-the-clock coverage, it adds up fast. Police protection, on the other hand, costs far less. British police officers earn a standard public salary. Having several officers assigned to Harry would cost a fraction of what private security does. And unlike private guards, police bring authority, status, and access. So this fight wasn't just about fear, it was about who pays. If Harry pays privately, it's his money. If police protect him, it's public money. That's the difference. And once you understand that, the entire battle over safety starts to look more like a battle over cost and control wrapped in moral language. This is the kind of analysis you won't find anywhere else. Royal Daily Report breaks down the financial reality behind the headlines. If you want to understand what's really happening, not just what the PR teams want you to believe, subscribe right now. Turn on notifications and stay informed. Royal Daily Report. Follow the money, find the truth. Subscribe now. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Harry didn't inherit most of his risk. He created it. He published details about combat kills. He openly criticized political leaders. He mocked institutions. He injected himself into global political conversations where neutrality matters. These weren't accidents, they were choices. Every one of those actions widened his public profile and raised his risk level. And yet, he wanted the consequences of those choices absorbed by the public, not by himself. That's the line the government refused to cross. Because when risk is self-generated, protection becomes a question of accountability, not entitlement. And accountability is exactly what Harry has spent years trying to avoid. At this point, the picture sharpens. Protection required cooperation. He refused it. Private security cost money. He didn't want to pay it. Public risk increased through his own actions. So, when the court said no and the system held firm, that should have been the end of the story. But it wasn't, because suddenly the system changed its tone with a shocking decision that should never have happened. After the courts ruled against Harry, the matter should have been closed. The law had spoken. The process was upheld. The decision was final. And yet months later, something unexpected happened. A new security review was ordered, not requested casually, not suggested publicly, but formally triggered, reopening a question that had already been answered in court. Here's why that matters. The Home Secretary does not simply override established security decisions on a whim. Doing so invites legal backlash, political scrutiny, and public outrage. It risks careers. So, this wasn't a rogue decision. For a move like this to happen, it requires authority, direction, permission. And in Britain's system, there is only one figure who can quietly request such an intervention without leaving fingerprints: the Crown. This wasn't Harry winning a legal argument. This was power stepping in after the law said no. Do you see what's happening here? The system bent the rules for one person. Royal Daily Report is the only channel calling this out. Subscribe right now. Turn on notifications. And make sure you're part of our community demanding equal accountability. Royal Daily Report. No special treatment, just the facts. Subscribe now. Now widen the lens. Around the same time, Harry's international movement started to tell a different story than the one he was selling at home. Trips to Nigeria, Colombia, Ukraine. At each stop, Harry wasn't treated as a private citizen. He was received formally, addressed by royal title, handled through official channels. That doesn't happen by accident. Diplomatic protocol is rigid. Titles are confirmed in advance. Governments don't guess how to address someone connected to the British monarchy. They ask, which means someone answered. And the answer was clear. Harry was still operating with royal recognition. This matters because it directly contradicts the idea that he was acting independently, cut off or stripped of status. Whatever was happening behind the scenes, it was coordinated. And coordination requires approval. And this is where the story lands. Not with shouting, not with drama, but with a question that refuses to go away. If a private citizen can't demand police protection, if a non-working royal isn't entitled to public resources, if the courts already ruled, then why did the system bend? The answer isn't emotional, it's institutional. A father trying to reclaim a son, a monarchy trying to manage optics, a government quietly absorbing the cost. But every time rules bend for one person, they weaken for everyone else. Because this isn't just about Harry. It's about precedent, about accountability, about who pays when power decides. Fairness is optional. This investigation exposes how power works behind closed doors. Royal Daily Report is committed to showing you the truth that mainstream media won't report. Subscribe right now, turn on all notifications, and help us spread this information. Share this video and be part of demanding accountability. Royal Daily Report. Truth over power. Subscribe now. The review hasn't concluded yet. The outcome hasn't been finalized, and the consequences haven't fully landed. But one thing is already clear. This wasn't chaos. It wasn't confusion. It was a choice. And once power moves in silence, the public is left to deal with the noise that follows. This story isn't over. It's only just reaching the point where the bill comes due. That brings us to the end of today's Royal Daily Report coverage of King Charles's coldest move and the truth behind Harry's security battle. We've walked through the evidence. The door camera footage showing Harry walking alone while claiming danger. The lawsuits he lost in court. The unpaid legal fees approaching $2 million. His refusal to provide advance itineraries that would enable proper protection. The massive cost difference between private security and police protection. The self-generated risks from his own controversial statements. And, most importantly, the mysterious security review ordered after the courts already ruled against him. This isn't about family drama. It's about who pays, who gets special treatment, and whether the rules apply equally to everyone. Make sure you're subscribed to Royal Daily Report because we will continue following this story as the security review concludes and the bill finally comes due. Hit that subscribe button right now, turn on all notifications, and stay with us for every development. Share this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments and be part of our community demanding transparency and accountability. Thank you for watching Royal Daily Report. I'm your host, and remember, when power moves in silence, it's our job to make noise. We'll see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and never stop asking who really pays the price.